Good morning, students. I hope you all are doing well. In the previous class, we have gone through first two techniques of scientific management given by F.W. Taylor. In today's class, we'll go through next four techniques given by F.W. Taylor. Coming to the next technique, before we start with the next technique, there are four types of study which is being suggested by Taylor. The four types of study are method study, motion study, time study and fatigue study. They can be placed under work study. That is, Taylor always believed that there is always a best way of doing a job. There is always one best way of doing the job. And that one best way of doing the job can be found out by conducting these various studies, which we call as work study. That is how that work should be done. Scientifically, the study should be conducted and then the proper way of doing the task should be found out. So under work study, there are four types of study which are conducted: method study, motion study, time study and fatigue study. Now we'll come to the first one, that is method study. Method study, it refers to one best way of doing the job. Taylor said that there always exists one best way of doing the job, and that one best way of doing the job should be found out by scientifically studying the different ways of doing the work. He believed that there may be so many ways of doing the work. Say if suppose any product has to be manufactured, there may be so many stages, processes through which the product can be manufactured. Now the best way, that is the number of processes which are required so as to get good quality product, the kind of the quality, size, shape, etc. being required of the product. If you want, what are the different stages or processes through which the product should pass? So that should be first found out. When he talks about the best way, best method, he says that is right from the purchase of raw material till the time the goods are being sold in the market. For everything there can be a best way of doing any particular task. So he said that there are so many alternatives which are available, so many alternative ways of doing the work is available. So the best way of doing that task should be found out and that should be then applied. Then next is motion study. The meaning is here itself, motion means movements. Here motion refers to the movement of the workers. The idea behind this technique was that Taylor said that all the unnecessary movements of the workers should be eliminated. Under this technique, Taylor said that the work of the workers should be observed and it should be seen that all the unnecessary movements of the workers while they are doing their work should be eliminated. Say for example, if it is found that a worker while doing the task of production, he has to move again and again in order to get the tools from the toolbox. While doing the production work, the worker has to again and again he has to move in order to get the tools from the toolbox. So that leads to unnecessary wastage of time. So what can be done? The toolbox can be kept just beside the worker so that immediately he can take the tools and he can get the work done immediately. Same way, suppose if it is observed that a worker has to frequently bend down in order to take the tools from the toolbox and then to do the work. So this when this movement is being seen that unnecessarily he has to move so many times, he has to bend so many times in order to get the tools and get the work done. So what can be done? The toolbox can be kept just beside the worker so that he doesn't have to bend again and again. So this can be done. Taylor said that this can be done by using CCTV cameras, whereby you can observe all the unnecessary movements of the workers and that can be reduced, that can be eliminated. It will help in reducing the wastage of time and thereby it will help in increasing the efficiency and production of the organization. It helps in increasing the efficiency of the workers as well as it helps in increasing the production of the organization. Next is time study. Now time, the meaning is here itself, time study. This is the study which is being conducted in order to find out the standard time being taken by the worker in order to complete the job. Taylor said that repeated experiments, observation should be done by the manager. He should continuously observe the workers doing the task and find out that what is the time being taken by a person of, say, reasonable skills, reasonable efficiency in order to complete a given piece of work. By continuous observation, a standard time can be fixed for an average worker within which he should be able to complete the task. The main purpose of time study was to determine the number of workers which are required in order to complete the task, to frame the suitable incentive schemes and to determine the labor cost. He said that if the time study is conducted, that will help the organization in knowing the number of workers which are required in order to complete the task and what is the labor cost which will have to be incurred by the company. Now take for example, for time study, we can go through this example. Say a worker takes 1 hour to produce 100 pens. Suppose by making an observation, say time study that is conducted through stopwatch. Stopwatch is used in order to perform this time study. Now suppose after observation the manager sees that an average worker, he takes 1 hour in order to produce 100 pens. Then suppose a working day consists of 8 hours. Suppose a worker has to work 8 hours in a day. Then say after deducting 1 hour for the lunch time and the rest, suppose if he is working in a day for 7 hours, then in 7 hours on an average a worker will be able to produce 700 pens. 7 into 100, that is 700 pens will be produced by the worker. Now the standard work of a worker can be fixed based on the time study. The standard work of the worker can be fixed in a day that every worker will have to produce in a day 700 pens. Now suppose the company requires that in a day 21,000 pens are required to be manufactured. That is the standard target for them, that in a day they have to produce 21,000 pens. So if in a day 21,000 pens have to be produced, then the number of workers required for this will be 21,000 upon 700, that comes to 30 workers. That is, the organization will require 30 workers in order to complete their standard target of producing 21,000 pens in a day. So on the basis of the number of workers required, now the company can calculate the total labor cost which they would have to incur, right? So the objective of time study is to determine the number of workers to be employed, to frame suitable incentive schemes and to determine the labor cost. This is the main objective of time study. Now coming to the next one, that is fatigue study. Now what do you mean by fatigue? Fatigue refers to the state of physical and mental tiredness. We can say fatigue, it refers to the state of physical and mental tiredness. Now this study Taylor insisted because he said that when a worker works continuously for long hours, he becomes fatigued. He gets tired if he works for long working hours. So he said that in between certain break should be given to them, some rest intervals should be given to them so that again they get energized to work more efficiently. So the basic purpose of this fatigue study was to find out the frequency of the rest intervals, the duration of the rest intervals, that is, what is the duration of the rest intervals which should be given, and the frequency, that is how many times the rest should be given. The fatigue study helps in knowing, that is, what is the amount and the frequency of the rest interval should be given to the workers. Now this can be done, he said that the workers can be observed while they are doing their job. It should be seen that after how much time the workers get tired. Say after working continuously for, say if it is observed that after working continuously for 3 hours, the workers get tired. That means that a break is required there. Some rest interval is required. Then it must be observed that for how much time that break should be given, whether it should be given for say 15 minutes or 20 minutes, after which they become energized and then again they can start their work. So in this way, Taylor said that a study should be conducted in order to know that what should be the duration of the rest intervals to be given and how many times that rest interval should be given to the workers. He said that if in this way the rest intervals are being given, then it will help in increasing the efficiency of the workers. After they have that rest interval, they'll again get energized and with full efficiency they'll be able to do their work, which will be beneficial for the organization in the form of increased productivity. So the basic purpose, if you'll take for fatigue study, that is to find out the amount of rest intervals. Basic purpose of fatigue study, you can find here, see here, that was to find out the amount of rest intervals, that is whether 15 minutes or half an hour rest interval should be given, and the frequency of rest intervals, that is the number of rest intervals. Frequency means number of rest intervals to be given, that is in a day. How many times the rest intervals to be given, that is whether it should be 2 times or 3 times in a day working, how many rest intervals should be given. So this is the main purpose of fatigue study. So if these rest intervals are being given, that will help in increasing the efficiency of the workers and it will help in increasing the productivity.